What's up, Film Jammers? This week, Apple debuted their new Mac Pro computer, and this bad boy has been a long time coming. I've owned a few of the old silver towers, and personally never really loved the 2012 trash can design. So currently, I'm editing off of the newer iMacs from 2017, and they've been great for my workflow. They handle the 4K ProRes out of my Alexa Mini really well, and I'm editing a feature on it right now. So this new Mac Pro was announced a few years back, and Apple finally delivered. We're gonna take a look at some of the specs and see what it means specifically for us video editors. Power. The old Mac Pro 5.1 had 980 watts of power. The 2012 Mac Pro 6.1 had only 450 watts of power. What's this new guy got? 1.4 kilowatts of power in that power supply. That's 1,400 watts. That's more than 3 times the power of the previous 2012 Mac Pro. 3 Arri SkyPanel S60s have the same amount of power. That's a lot of power. This thing's gonna need its own circuit to run, so don't be planning to vacuum anytime soon, boys. Save that for when the computer turns off. You know what happens then. So what are you gonna do with all that power, big guy, huh? You're gonna compute and power things inside of it. Let's talk about what you're gonna put in there, Ricky. GPUs. You can put up to 4 graphics cards in the new Mac Pro. And although NVIDIA is not a build-to-order option, you can bet your bonbons they're gonna have a custom card coming soon if you need all those CUDA cores. Adobe. All right, you ready for this? This is the coolest part. AFTERBURNER. This is one of the best things for video editors about the new system, in my opinion. This AFTERBURNER card was specifically developed to process ProRes and ProRes RAW footage. So it's processing all that ProRes RAW. Your CPU's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go process some other stuff like these titles or this color grade or this B-roll of penguins. You know, a lot of top camera manufacturers are using ProRes and ProRes RAW now, like Arri, Red, the Atomos products, they're all recording ProRes RAW internally, which is awesome. So all of those cameras and manufacturers that are doing ProRes and ProRes RAW are gonna be really optimized for this new computer. So with the AFTERBURNER card, we may be able to finally say goodbye to proxies. See you later, suckers! Because you can edit up to 3 streams in 8K ProRes RAW, or 12 streams of ProRes RAW in 4K. That's a nice girthy stream of data, boys, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be an extreme boost in your workflow. There's never been anything like this AFTERBURNER card, so I can't wait to get my hands on that guy. See if he's really burning the after. Internal hard drives. Now the base configuration gives you 256 gigs of an SSD internally. You can upgrade up to 4 terabytes internally. But what's most exciting to me is that you're gonna finally be able to put internal RAIDs back in a Mac Pro tower. You couldn't do this with the trash can. You could do it with the older silver tower. Now they're finally bringing it back. And Pegasus, which is a very popular RAID configuration company, has an internal RAID setup already developed for the new Mac Pro. So these are gonna be ready to go when the new computer ships. You can get those cheaper SATA drives, put them in there, RAID them together, and get a really fast internal drive without having to get those external Thunderbolt RAIDs. I'm really excited about that. So in the new 2019 Mac Pro, you'll be able to use some of the 8 PCI Express lanes to put in SATA drive RAIDs or SSD drive RAIDs and power them. I think this was a big omission on the 2012 trash can Mac Pro. You couldn't configure internally any kind of drive RAIDs with SATA drives or cheaper options. So this is a really great option. I'm really excited about it. Customizable, configurable, upgradable, future-proof. I/O. They're giving us USB 3 ports. Woo! Wish I had that on my MacBook Pro. But they are also giving us Thunderbolt 3, 4 ports. Then you can add extra ports with PCI cards if you want like 10 more Thunderbolt 3. You can add it in those slots. As a video editor, that's so important to be able to customize, and depending on what you need, even for different projects, you might want to have different cards in there. So you can add it, subtract it, multiply it, and then divide. You've also got 2 10 gigabit Ethernet ports, and they even threw in a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Oh, shucks. RAM. Now this computer at the base level configuration is spec'd out with 32 gigs of RAM. I kind of wish I had a little more, but you can go all the way up to 1.5 terabytes of RAM. What? Who even uses that much RAM? I bet James Cameron wish he had it when he hit render on Avatar. Bloop. Would have saved him a couple minutes or years. Cores. How many cores you want? The base configuration has an 8-core Xeon processor. That's upgradable to 12, 16, 24, and 28 cores. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if you want the faster RAM, the 2933 megahertz RAM, you're gonna have to get a 12-core processor and above. The 8-core has the slower RAM, it's just a little bit slower, but if you want that faster speed, 12 core and up. Sorry, 8 core, you're so 2000 and slow. Wheels. This is a feature that I find really interesting, and it's kind of fun and might be useful to have. I think wheeling it around the office, or if you're on jobs and you want to just get it around set, it's going to be cool to have the option to have those wheels on the bottom. It's a 40-pound machine, so if you don't want to pick that thing up, wheel it around. I think it could be like come really popular is like Mac Pro races. Like, hey, all the kids around the neighborhood getting their dad's Mac Pro, and they're like, line them up on top of the hill, buddies, and then they're like wheeling, whoa, who's gonna win? And they put like a little hat on one, and then I can really see that catching on. Price. Now, if you think this puppy's gonna be cheap, it's not. So this computer is not for everyone. It's for the high-end editors. It's for the 3D modelers. It's for the rich guys that want to look cool. Instead of a trophy wife, you might want to put one of these in the passenger seat of your car and just drive around with it. Put a wig on it. Put a blonde wig on one of this new Mac Pro. People will respect you. So I want to put the pricing in perspective a little bit. I'm currently editing off an iMac, the 2017 model, with the 4.2 processor, i7, top spec graphics card, which is the Radeon 580 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and then the system has 40 gigabytes of RAM. I had 8 gigabytes, then I added 32 gigs aftermarket, and I have a 1 terabyte SSD internally. So all in, that computer was about $3,000. That's for the iMac, the 2017 27-inch screen. Now, the Mac Pro, the new 2019 Mac Pro, the base option is $6,000. You don't get a screen with that either. You're only getting a 256 gigabyte SSD internally and 32 gigabytes of RAM, but you are getting a much better processor, better architecture, more ins and outs, all that good stuff. So for me, I'd probably rather have 2 of the iMacs. It's able to edit most of the footage we use, like the 4K footage from the Alexa Mini, but if you want to have that upgradability, if you want to have all those PCI slots to add in different cards, different future-proofing, different upgradability, the new Mac Pro is an awesome option. Monitor. So Apple also released a new 32-inch 6K XDR Pro Display with the Mac Pro. It's a true 10-bit panel. It's P3 wide color gamut. It's gorgeous, but this thing is $6,000. It's as much as the computer. It's got a $1,000 stand. They're saying it's on par with $40,000 Sony high quality reference monitors, but this is really for the true color, so people that really need that accurate color. Personally, I like using my Flanders Scientific monitor. It was like $2,500. It's super accurate color on there. To drop $6,000 on a monitor, I don't know if I want to drop that kind of cash. But don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. If you can afford it and you have the need for it, it looks beautiful. The panel is amazing quality. Everything about it is just screams luxury. It does have a nice cheese grater design that matches the Mac Pro, so if you put them together, you can feel like you matched your top and bottom panties. You know, I think it's cool. Final thoughts. We may end up picking one of these up later this year. I personally don't think we can justify the monitor, but the computer, we waited. We didn't get the iMac Pro. We didn't get the trash can. We have the older Mac Pros, and we've been using the regular iMacs. So this is what we've been waiting for. It's super exciting. It's got so much processing power and a lot of future-proof ability. We're still using our old Tower Macs in some of our editing suites that have lasted over 10 years now. So I feel like Apple's finally back with a computer that feels like I want to invest in it. And I love the new AFTERBURNER card. I think they're really thinking about video editors, and this card's going to speed up my workflow. I use a lot of ProRes, and I'm going to be using more ProRes RAW in the future. It's pretty much everything I want in a pro computer, only like $2,000 more than I wanted to spend. What do you think? Is this computer going to speed up your workflow? Are you even interested in it? Is it too much money? How much faster can you edit with this computer? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next week. What's this new guy got? It's got 1.4 teraflops. Nope, that's not even a real thing. Don't multiply your gummy bears by 0, because then you'll have 0 gummy bears.